Johnny, what do you think the message would have been there in that huddle?
I think it would be very positive. I think we can talk maybe about Wales not quite being their first half, but these games can really disintegrate quickly. But England kept a real strong structure, seemed to be some real understanding between the players, so they were able to find their shape very quickly from ruck to ruck. They stuck in there, they didn't let the pace drop, didn't let the kind of the vibe drop from within the team, kept pressing, kept scoring right the way towards the end, and still looked pretty fresh and ready to go. So I think that's a step up from where they've been, and I think it's been a good day. And we were just speaking here saying that I think it's been good preparation for next week. There was enough in there to remind them of what's coming, but also a bit left in the legs, hopefully.
Absolutely, to keep them honest for the Calcutta Cup. Right, chaps, what's going to be the verdict the other side of the Severn Bridge after that?
I was just going to ask, can we carry on talking about England? But look, the bottom line is we want to be positive about this young Welsh team. We know that there's a new coaching group and staff, but the level of that performance in the first half was nowhere near up to standard for international rugby. Whether it was self-inflicted wounds through penalties, yellow cards, silly errors, but the level of performance, whether the off-field stuff has had more of an effect than maybe we gave them credit for, but the bottom line, that first half performance was nowhere near it. Yes, they showed a little bit more fight, threw a few shots in the second half. There's a lot of work to do on that first half.
Yeah, for me, I heard Dewi Lake, Wales, great player, great captain. He spoke in the week about being the aggressor here at Twickenham. Heard in George Ford's post-match interview how important the opening quarter of an hour, 20 minutes is in a test match. Wales found themselves 20 points down before they could blink, and England were the aggressor. Wales just didn't fire a shot.
And if they do the same next weekend against France, Jamie, it'll be a duplication of what we've seen here.
No doubt, and potentially more, right? Like, France, unbelievable side, in a rich vein of form. They've got to find a way to start test matches better. Can't use the same old excuse we build into tournaments. You can't build slowly in this tournament. It's a tournament of momentum, and we host the French in Cardiff next Sunday.
Just quickly, it's not Wales aren't expecting. We're not standing here saying Wales should be beating England, Wales should be beating France. But there's a performance expectation that comes when you put on that red jersey, and when you come to places like Allianz Stadium, when you go to Principality at home next week. The level of performance has to be better. France and England are better teams than Wales, much better. But there has to be
a way to lose, isn't it?
There's a way to lose, and there has to be a level of performance, and Wales fell well short in the first half, picked it up a little bit, as Johnny said, in the second half, but really disappointing in that first half.
It just shows the strength that England have, that they can bring in someone like Henry Arundell, who came back to play in the Premiership because he wasn't eligible to play for England while playing in France. We talked about X Factor before the game. What did you make? He scored a hat-trick. You could say, did he have to work particularly hard for it? What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can say about how much he had to do, but you have to be in the right place at the right time. You have to be able to see the picture that your number 10 seeing for these moments. He took the wide ball flat there. Here he's got himself into the open space, arm up, calling for that cross kick. And so here he's just doing his job as a winger. That's a classic finisher's thing. You love that when your opposition makes an error, your winger piles through, gets on the ball and shows you those clean heels. That's free money, that is, that's a big momentum shifter in a game. So, yeah, okay, he might not have had to beat 3 or 4 people each time, but he's in the right place. There's been a lot of talk in this week about this game being probably a big one for him. He hasn't come out, lost his nerve. He's been, done his thing, and he needs to build on that. But, a great start. But, again, with that team around him, forwards winning set piece, winning collisions, the guys in the midfield setting things up, it's probably a nice time for him to play today as well.
Jamie Georgia enjoyed his little applause to the crowd because he captained from the start today with Mario Toje on the bench. George Ford was player of the match. You talked about this before the game, that actually if you kick intelligently and you kick well, it's an attacking weapon. Talk us through the spiral bombs of George Ford today.
Yeah, well, there was so much variation in George Ford's game, which I love. What you do with this, and Shane Williams said it really well in commentary, is the ball goes up really quickly, but it comes down even quicker. So you think you're underneath it, and then you're not quite there, and then you've got to move position. The great players and the best players look like they've got time on the ball. And yes, George Ford knows that next week and the week after there's going to be bigger challenges ahead, but he is in the form of his life and just looks a brilliant player for this team.
I'm going to throw in a really sort of nerdy kicking thing here.
Like a bit of nerd here, Johnny.
So with the spiral bomb as well, when you send it up, it either stays tail down, so it stays like this, and when it does that, it comes back towards the team that kicked it. So you often see them underneath it, and they end up running into the attack. It's horrible because you're basically running towards contact, or it turns over, in which case it's hell. And so when George hits that, he can't guarantee
what's going to happen. As the kicker, you can do that deliberately.
You're trying to get it to turn over, because honestly, I have no idea where that's going.
Johnny could do it deliberately.
Yeah.
I doubt the fullbacks thinking of the angle of the ball, mate. Yeah. It's brutal. Just on George Ford, I would have loved to have played outside him, because his ability to play flat to the line and put other players in space, he's done it with his England backline today. Formidable player.
But bearing in mind, I played inside Jamie for most of my career, so that's a really good compliment for me. Thanks,
Hey, I love you, really.
Johnny, you know what they say, if you don't know where it's going, they certainly don't know where it's going. Dewi Lake, let's hear from him then with Topsy Ojo.
Well, Dewi, a tough afternoon for you and your team. What do you say to the boys in the huddle after a performance where things just didn't quite go your way?
Yeah, look, we're massively disappointed in ourselves, really, in what we said we were going to do. What we practiced through the week, we didn't perform it today. So yeah, we just said that we've got to be disappointed in ourselves. We can't expect things to go our way all the time. We have to make it happen. We're not a team that's going to get the rub of the green at the minute, or going to get 50-50, so we have to be squeaky clean, and we weren't. Played large amounts of that game with 13 men, and yeah, we spoke all week about discipline, and we let ourselves down in that area massively today.
Yeah, always going to be difficult. You mentioned that the 4 yellow cards across the game, but why do you think in that opening quarter in particular you weren't able to implement the game plan you wanted to?
Look, I think when we went to the air, when we stuck to our game plan, we really got some joy out of it early doors. But just little offsides or a couple of penalties blocking the kickers. We knew England were going to come heavy at first breakdown. We didn't beat them in there. A couple of penalties, so we stacked that penalty count early doors, and then another 2 at driving line out time, and you end up in 2 yellow cards. So yeah, look, we've just got to action the things that we say in the week, and we didn't today.
Well, Dewi, best of luck for next weekend.
Thank you. Cheers.
Steve, a difficult afternoon for you and your team. What's your initial assessment on the performance today?
I'm probably really frustrated. I think through the autumn, and again, we're working with the group, like obviously love working with them, but probably a little bit more disappointed in ourselves today. Whereas I think through the autumn there was a lot of good in around what we did, but today probably I believe a lot of what happened was self-inflicted, which is really disappointing for us, because we felt we were in a good place where we're coming into the game, but coming to England, if we're going to go down and lose 4 yellow cards, we're very inaccurate when we did get any sort of field position, then you're always going to be on the tough end of the scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm sure the players will look at themselves, but as a coach, is there anything you can do in those moments? Because you come in with a great game plan, but like you said, self-inflicted wounds undoing all that good work in the training week.
Yeah, look, it's part of coaching, it's part of the game, and again, it's part of our journey and where we need to go. We are where we are for a reason, but again, it's making sure that we reflect really hard on it. We believe we are, well, ultimately we're really disappointed in the performance tonight, because we felt we were going to get more from the game. We knew it was a tough place to come, and England are in a real good spot in around where they are as a team, but we will be bitterly disappointed as a group with this performance.
Well, undoubtedly a disappointed Steve Tandy, but a very, very happy Steve Borthwick. Maggie, 48-7 to England. How do you reflect on the performance?
It was a comprehensive performance from England. They got the job done. First half, very much what you'd expect, a masterclass from England with George Ford pulling the strings. And it's quite interesting listening to some of the boys in the studio, and obviously Henry Arundell coming in as well, talking about there's some points they could have left behind there. 2 tries they definitely could have scored. But that's quite exciting. England building the momentum, they're going forward. I was pleased with some of the forwards performances. Guy Pepper made 14 tackles. They're just moving in the right direction. It's about building, and that's the key thing. Scotland obviously lost today, and the biggest issue for them was a set piece, and obviously discipline as well. George Turner got yellow carded. So that next weekend is going to be a big game for Scotland, but for England, an opportunity to build.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be huge next weekend. England march on. Wales got some questions to answer.
Thank you very much indeed, Topsy. So if next week was always going to be big, but with Scotland having lost, that's even bigger, isn't it, in sense of the pressure that's on Scotland?
Yeah, and the relationship between England and Scotland rugby-wise certainly in the men's game, has been interesting. And I think that just adds to the dynamic. You know, we were talking not long ago about not getting a sniff for the last 5 or 6 years, and now going up there with a lot on riding on it, and a big opportunity for Scotland to come back and set the score straight. You know, that's going to be a big energy affair.